welcome back to another YouTube video. It's Me Glady and I'm back with another tutorial. So pretty much today's video is going to be covering the Rubik's Cube 2x2. And if you haven't seen the Rubik's Cube 3x3 tutorial, I highly recommend it because watching that will make this cube, miles easier. I'll have it linked in the description, or it'll probably show up as a title card video at the end of this one. So pretty much it'll be a simple walkthrough. This video probably won't be too long, so I just decided to do a tutorial because I have the cube lying around, and I'll probably be doing more from my cube collection in the future, so be sure to stay tuned for that. This will be an outside tutorial since it's been raining for a couple days, cloudy for a couple days, but it stopped today. It is still kind of cloudy outside right now, but the sun is out briefly, so hopefully I can get this tutorial in, it'll be a video for today. Anyways, like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and if you want to see more of my Rubik's Cube tutorials, comment down below or just hit the like button, and I'll see that majority of our viewers liked it. Thank you so much for the support, and also if you haven't already, you can also view my animation video, a short film that I've done. I've created in PowerPoint, so I'll link that as well in the description, but be sure to check that out if you have the time. And with that, let's get into the tutorial. So this is the 2x2 Rubik's Cube I have right here. I'm sitting in my backyard right now, so pardon me if there is some wind or some background noise disturbance. I just wanted to do a unique video about the cube outside. So essentially this is pretty similar to most of the cubes out there, like the 3x3 mainly, and you solve it the same way essentially, top to bottom. Usually I do it from the color white to the color yellow. Now there will be only one algorithm that you'll need to memorize or just know to solve through the last layer of the cube, but similar to the 3x3, and like I mentioned in my intro, it would be more beneficial to go watch that video so you'll get a more idea of how to solve cubes in general. So essentially we'll be working from the first layer down to the second layer. So I'll mix this up and I'll be right back. Right, so the very first step you're going to do is you're going to work from top to bottom, and like I mentioned, the white layer to the yellow layer. Now some of you may not have any whites on the top layer. That's okay. Essentially this very first step, like we do with most cubes, is just kind of generically finding the white pieces all around the rest of the cube and bringing them up to the top layer so that they line up correctly. It is very important that you keep in mind the colors that are going to be on this side of the cube, because you want these to line up. If they don't line up, it'll be problematic when we're solving the cube. I already have a white piece up top right here already, so I'm just going to find the rest of the white pieces. So essentially the piece that is going to go here is a piece that'll have two primary colors. It's going to have white, so it lines up with the white on the top, and it's going to have green, so it lines up with the green on this face or half of the cube. And that is the two primary colors that you should be looking for to line this area up. And again, we're working from white to yellow, so we're going to make this the white side, and since there's no centerpiece on the 2x2, any side can be any color. So that is important to keep in mind. Alright, so I'm going to be looking for the cube, or the piece that has a white and a green on it. Alright, so this piece, coincidentally, is a piece that has a white right here and a green on its piece itself. So that piece is what we need to line up on this area. And pretty much this step has really no sort of instructions to it. You're going to have to fiddle around with it and kind of line it up. This is the easiest step of the entire process. So I'm just going to fiddle around until I get this lined up right here. And an important step to keep in mind, and I've mentioned this in a previous 3x3 cube tutorial, is to try to bring these pieces to the bottom layer. And once you do, it'll be easier because you can maneuver around the bottom layer and you can position it right underneath where it needs to go and bring it up so that it lines up neatly with this cube. Sometimes you might have it so the white is on the bottom, and even if you bring it up, it might not line up beautifully. So you're gonna have to just keep it on the bottom, turn it to the right, okay? Or if it's on this half, turn it to the left, but essentially turn it to the right, and then you could bring up this right hand half and line it up neatly. And so that's another quick way of kind of lining up these pieces. Alright, so the next step is we're going to have to find this piece so we can complete this entire half. So with the piece I need, like I mentioned earlier, this piece that's going to go right here has to line up here, right? So it needs to have a white on this side, and it has to line up here, right? So it has to have a red. So there's only going to be one piece on this entire cube that'll have those two colors, and those are the two primary colors you should be looking for. So just briefly glancing around the cube, okay, I found this piece right here. This one doesn't have it, this does. The red that I need and the white that I need. And I know exactly where it needs to go. It needs to go right here. And it looks like it lines up beautifully, and it seems that I have all of the pieces lined up beautifully as well. This is by coincidence. I did not set this up. Sometimes it might happen for you like this, but I'll get it to another situation where this piece is out of order. I'm re-emphasizing that this is the easiest step of the entire process, and some of you might have one more final piece to go. And essentially what you need to do is look at this piece. What is the color that needs to line up here? White, obviously. And what is the color that needs to line up here? Blue. And since this is the last piece, the bottom half of this area also has to line up. So I need an orange right here to line up, and then a blue here to line up, and a white here to line up. And there's going to be one piece on this entire cube that'll have those colors, and that's going to be, you'll find it, but it'll be right here for me, white, orange, and blue. So like I do with all the colors, hopefully, most likely 90% of the time it'll be already in the second layer, but you can maneuver it around until it is in the second layer. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this around until it's right below where it needs to go, okay? And we run into a quick situation here where if I turn this up and line it up beautifully, it pushes out the piece that we already had in the correct position, and that's problematic. What you want to do in this particular situation is you want to first, before you move this piece up, you want to move this half to the left, so the backwards half, and move it to the left so it's safely out of the way. It's on this side, and so then you can bring this piece up and line it up really well with the piece next to it, and then you can bring that backward half back. And this is a similar method that you use pretty much in solving all cubes. So hopefully you have the white top face done and the sides on this area finished as well, and it should look like that the first layer is done for you. Now comes a little bit more trickier aspect of the 2x2 is solving the second layer. The second layer, we need to complete this yellow side, and essentially we're gonna have to do one algorithm that you're gonna have to know so that we can get all these pieces in the correct position. Because we can't like fiddle around with it like we did for the first layer, otherwise we'll just mess this first layer up, since there's only really two essential layers to this entire cube. So what you want to do essentially is look at this second layer and look for a cube that is already in the correct position. So why do we need to look for a cube that is in the correct position, or cube meaning piece? So for this algorithm to work, it needs to have one piece in the correct position, meaning this piece, although it might, it seems to be lining up right here, it is in the correct position because this side is going to be yellow, right? And this side is going to be orange and blue. Since we've solved it from the white layer up, we know what faces each color is going to be. So this is going to be the blue face, the orange face, yellow face. So this piece is correct because it has the yellow face, the orange face, and the blue face. Now, some of you might not have it reorientated the way I have it right here where it's lined up correctly. That's okay. You just want to make sure it's in the correct position. For those of you who viewed my 3x3 tutorial, it'll be more clear because that is one of the signs that we're going to look for when solving the last layer of any cube. So essentially this algorithm will keep the correct piece in its correct position, it'll situate it there, and it'll rotate the rest three into the correct positions. And we might have to do it like once or twice or three times depending on what orientation or what mix up cube you have currently. So as for me, I already have one in the correct position, but one thing to note is make sure there's not another one in the correct position. You can't have two in the correct position, otherwise it will mess up the algorithm. So I'm going to look here, and it seems that this piece is not in the correct position, which is what we need. This piece is also not in the correct position, and this piece is also not in the correct position, because none of the colors are where they need to be. Like this side is yellow, we have a yellow, that's good. This side is green, we have a green, that's good. This side is red, but we have an orange in this piece, so that's why this piece does not belong. Now I have this one only in the correct position and the rest three are not in the correct position. Some of you may have a cube where none of the pieces are in the correct positions, and that is okay. Simply follow along the algorithm I'm about to show you, and it should give you one in the correct position, and then you can kind of have that starting point to do the algorithm again. So for those who have one in the correct position, make sure the piece that's in the correct position is on the right hand side, with this face facing you, the white on the bottom, and the yellow facing up. For those who don't have any in the correct position, it's okay. Just hold it from whatever face you have, but make sure the yellow's going up and the white's going down, and do this algorithm with me. The algorithm is as follows. The top layer to the left, the right layer up, the top layer to the right, the left layer up, the top layer to the left, the right layer down, the top layer to the right, the left layer down. And as you can see, it's rotating the rest of the three pieces while maintaining this piece in its correct position. So it looks like for me, this piece went into the correct position because the yellow is lined up with the yellow, the blue has lined up, and the red has lined up. It may not be, sometimes it may not be orientated correctly, but that's okay. You just want to make sure the colors are there. Alright, the yellow's here. We have a yellow on this piece. The red's on this half, and we have a red on this piece. The green's on this half, and we have a green on this piece. So this piece is where it needs to belong. And that'll leave essentially this last piece, which will also be in the correct position. Now, some of you may not have this orientated correctly, or some of the pieces may still not be in the correct positions. That is okay. That is why the algorithm is there. You want to have whatever piece that you began with orientated in the correct position on the right half, and hold it so the yellow is facing up and the white's facing on the bottom, and repeat that same algorithm with me, and it should bring you to the position I am in, where all the pieces are in the correct positions. Repeat as necessary until you get everything in the correct position. And I'm emphasizing one more time, for the people who did not get any of the pieces in the correct position, hold it from any face where the yellow's up top and the white's on the bottom, and do that same algorithm that I just showed you, and it should get one of them in the correct position. From then on, you'll have that correct position piece on the right hand half, with the yellow piece facing forward, or the yellow side facing up and the white facing bottom, and you should repeat that algorithm until you get all in the correct position. Now we're on the final half. We have all the pieces in the correct position. Now all we need to do is reorientate them so that they are lined up with one another, similar to what these pieces are looking at right now. Again, few scenarios may pop up. All of them are in the correct position, but none of them are reorientated correctly. You may have one reorientated correctly. You may have two reorientated correctly, like I have right here, where the yellow is on the yellow half. That is fine. No matter what position you are in right now, you're going to repeat the same process that I'm about to teach you right now. So essentially what you need to do is you want to make sure the white is facing up this time, and that the yellow side, which we know it's going to be this side at the end, is going to be facing down. And you want to pick a side where one of the pieces is not reorientated correctly. So I'm just going to pick this side at random. I have the white up and the yellow down, and I want this piece that's not reorientated correctly on the bottom right corner. So if it was this piece, you know, this is already reorientated, so I don't need this in the bottom right corner. Just pick a piece that's not reorientated in the bottom right corner. And what you're essentially going to do is you're going to do these sets of moves that I'm going to show you until the white, or excuse me, until the yellow is on the bottom half, lined up with the yellow on the bottom. So simply repeat these moves. Right up, top side to the left, right down, top side to the right, right side up, top side to the left, right down, top side to the right. Now that yellow is now lined up. We've now orientated that piece where the yellow is now facing down, and it's lined up with the yellow side. Now again, some of you might have solved this cube at this moment or at this point, but some of you may have additional pieces to orientate. So what you need to do is maintain this face, don't change anything, and make sure that the white is facing up, the yellow is facing down, and this face, front face, is facing you. And maintain this orientation, and just simply turn the bottom layer until you come across the next piece that you need to orientate. Make sure it's in the bottom right hand corner, and do the same sets of moves that I taught you a second ago. So essentially do this again. Right side up, top side to the left, right side down, top side to the right. Right side up, top side to the left, right side down, top side to the right. Check to see if that piece is orientated correctly. It's still not. The yellow still needs to be here. So I'm going to do it again. Right side up, top side to the left, right side down, top side to the right. Still not correct. Right side up, top side to the left, right side down, top side to the right. But at this point, it should be solved right here, and you can just orientate the piece. It should be solved for you guys if that was the last piece that you needed to orientate. And those steps were essentially the same as a 3x3, where we're just reorientating the pieces. Your 2x2 should be solved. If you have any other questions or concerns, tell me in the comments, and I can help you work through them. But essentially, those are the basic steps you need to solve the 2x2. It's more complicated when it comes to a 3x3, but it's at its base, at its foundation, is essentially the same. So I hope you guys enjoyed this short tutorial. If you want to see more of my Rubik's Cube tutorials, let me know in the comment, hit the like button, and subscribe. I'll also be doing a bonus cube kind of showcasing with this cube called the mirror cube. If you want to see me go over it, let me know in the comments, but I'll be hopefully doing a video in the future on it, so make sure to have your notifications on if you want to see that in the future. But essentially, I thank you so much for all your support, and it's me Glady signing out, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you.